Center.
Well, it's the Rose Bowl. What can you say? It's the Rose Bowl.
Will Miami come up roses against Virginia Tech, or will the Hokies spoil the garden party?
Look at this kid moving.
Our prediction for the Florida-Tennessee game is for pain. In Oregon, the Civil War gets a little uncivil.
That little fella has entertained us for about the last 10 minutes.
It's Army-Navy for the 102nd time. Joe Pa has bowl hopes, but this is not what he had in mind. Paul Pierce's day can be described in one word: ridiculous. Can Jordan and the Wizards pull off a trifecta? Would Drew be good enough to lead Kansas past Arizona? Chris Mortensen talks to us about where Russell Maryland may end up playing.
Can we just watch him?
No, you have to watch SportsCenter right now.
Dickie V, he can do it all. In the stands conducting the orchestra. Hi, we've been waiting for you along with John Anderson. I am Linda Cohn. Ahead, MJ against T-Mac, Shaq against KG, but college football taking center stage.
And did you know it's the same distance to the Rose Bowl in Pasadena, whether you're in Blacksburg, Virginia, or Gainesville, Florida?
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
3 yards. Gators couldn't cover that length against Tennessee. Hurricanes stopped the Hokies over the same stretch. 2-point conversions, crucial today. Florida, Tennessee, a quarterfinal for the Gators. Beat the Vols, go to the SEC championship game. Win that, go to the Rose Bowl. How simple? Well, not fair. Rex Grossman, 32 TD passes coming in. Grossman tipped by John Henderson. Intercepted by Jabari Greer, just his 12th interception of the year to go with those 32 TDs. It sets up Travis Stevens. Up the middle, 6 yards, touchdown, 14-0 Tennessee, and he's just getting started. Second quarter Tennessee ball. They're up 14-10, and look at that. Home team got a member's bounce. Mike Nattiel's got it, takes it down to the Vols, 21. Phil Fulmer, 1-7 against Florida all time. Coleman, his guy, says, don't worry, a long game. First play after the turnover. Grossman, Jabbar Gaffney, just like that, 17-14 Florida. Go ahead, spot him 2 touchdowns. We'll make them up. Later in the second, Grossman back, forced out of the pocket, little shovel pass to Kelvin Kite, but Kite gets hammered by Eddie Moore. Let's take a look at this again, because that is a bruise waiting to happen. Stay low and hit him hard. Got to drive through that man. Second half, down 6. Tennessee starting with the ball. Clausen. Dante Stallworth wouldn't have played in September in this game because of bad wrist, but he's ready to go in December and fighting for yardage. 26-yard gain. 2 plays later, Stevens. Up the middle, shakes a tackler, makes a move, and just like that, Tennessee regains the lead, 21-20. Take another look, because Marquand Manuel got a shot. Manuel can't hang on. Stevens rolling. Fourth quarter, more of the big fellas, 23-21. Through a gap, 24. If you get tired of watching him, go ahead and tackle him. Todd Johnson bangs him out after a 34-yard gain. Sets up first and goal. Jabari Davis will get the 6 points. Over the top he goes. 27-23. Vols missed the 2-point conversion. Next Florida drive. Grossman under pressure. Grossman gonna lose the ball. Oh no! Vols falling, but they ruled a sack. Phil Fulmer, keep arguing, but buddy, you're in Gainesville. Ain't gonna happen. Next Volunteers drive. On 23. Stevens again. 19 carries. 226 punishing yards. That's nearly 12 yards a carry. A gain of 68. 68. Spurrier can't believe his defense cannot toughen up on the run. 3 plays later, third and goal. Davis again. Good height. 6 points over the pile. Vols up 34-26. So Spurrier down 8. He knows that ain't hard. That's a touchdown and 2 points. First and 10 with 5 minutes left. Rashae Caldwell in motion, gets a handoff. Back over to Robert Gillespie. That seems quite dizzy. A gain of 9. A lot of work. Then Grossman hits Gaffney for another 9 yards. Second and goal, 2-yard line. Grossman, 33-51, 362 yards, and a touchdown there. We need a 2-point conversion because we got a 2-point game. Grossman back, looking. Vols secondary doing the work. Got everybody covered. They throw to Gaffney. Incomplete. Thought maybe he was held. He wasn't. Onside kick. And right there, John Finlayson. Good hands when you need them. And Phil Fulmer is elated. They are still alive. They are going to the SEC championship game. Florida's national championship hopes finish 34-32. Stevens powers the Vols into the title game in Atlanta. 4 runs of 30-plus yards to 226. 8th best rushing day in school history. Tennessee breaks a 7-game, 30-year losing streak at the Swamp. Gators won their first 6 home games by an average of 6 TDs. Not only was this their first home loss of the season, it's their first loss ever in Gainesville to an SEC West opponent. That makes them 22-1, and the 1 hurts, at least for Florida.
We're disappointed in the ball game, and whatever individual awards these guys win, that's super proud of them, but we're very disappointed. We didn't win anything this year. Had a good record, had a lot of good games, but we didn't win anything. We didn't talk about Rose Bowl. We talked about winning the Eastern Division. We have no excuses. We have no excuses about anything. They just kicked our tails. That's all you can say. We have no excuses. We were ready to play, had good practices. They were just stronger than we were, seemed like.
What about top-ranked Miami and Virginia Tech? As of November 17th, Larry Coker and Miami had 3 major hurdles to get by to earn a trip to the Rose Bowl. Okay, November 17th. This is the first one. Miami beating Syria.
It was just like the '98 game after the championship in Tempe and the Fiesta Bowl. The fans with their shakers and everything, holding up the final score, 34-32. I even saw Smokey get up on the ladder. He was leading the band in Rocky Top.
Casey Clausen did the same thing.
Casey Clausen was doing it. And speaking of Casey Clausen, his mom was there. And you know, and I asked her about Casey, and she said, you know what, he was pretty confident, and I saw that. I saw that air of confidence, and we talked about the sophomore. He had to do it, and Alan, the kid went in there and got the job done.
Oh, he sure did. He was cool. You know, you're watching him close, and in a game like that, you just can't hear yourself think. You can't hear anything. It was one of the loudest crowds. It was a record crowd on hand by today, but they couldn't hear anything, and a guy that comes in like that and just is as cool as a cucumber.
Casey Clausen, some numbers for you. He was 17 of 25 today, 168 yards, 1 touchdown. Again, not a whole lot as far as the numbers go, but his leadership, getting the job done. He had that big 4th down conversion. Right. Hey, after the game, Casey's mom was there, as I mentioned, Kathy Clausen. I talked to her, and the neat thing about this whole scenario now, if it plays out for Tennessee, if they go on and win the SEC championship, they're going to the Rose Bowl. We assume they will go to the Rose Bowl.
Guess where they're from?
They're from California. The Rose Bowl, of course, is in Pasadena. Right. We had a chance to talk to both Casey and his mom. Listen to what they have to say, or had to say to me after the game.
I knew he could pull it off. I told everybody all day, he'll get him. He'll get him. And I knew it was going to come to whoever had the ball last, and we did it.
You know what?
And now we have one more game to win today.
Wouldn't it be nice to go back to the Rose Bowl in California?
We're going to be in California. Absolutely.
Oh, we're going to the Rose Bowl. I mean, there's no doubt in my mind that we're going. We got one more game next week, and we're ready to go. But we got this one, we got one more to go, and we're going to be in the Rose Bowl.
How sweet is that for a young man from California?
Unbelievable. I mean, that was our dream, or our goal from the beginning of the season to play the national championship game, and for me to play at home. But we got one more game to go, and I guarantee you this team will be ready to play come Saturday.
How about that? And
confident guy there, huh?
No doubt. And another thing, too, he spread the wealth around tonight. Bobby Graham, Stallworth, John Finlayson, Jason Witten. The ball's really going to the tight end early on today.
I feel sorry for Witten tonight.
Yeah, he'll come back.
2 turnovers and dropped a touchdown pass, but it doesn't matter. They won.
And you know how big turnovers are. We talked about that. Those turnovers led to 10 Florida points. Also catching balls tonight, Kelly Washington, Travis Stevens, and Troy Fleming had the big first touchdown of the game. Bobby Graham, folks, 7 catches for 71 yards. That was big tonight.
Oh, man. All right. Well, I'm interested in some more highlights of this. How about you?
Let's send it back to Eric back in Knoxville.
Okay.
Guy, take it away.
Thanks a lot, guys. Of course, you see it once, and, you want to see it again and again and again. There's nothing like the taste of a little gator meat. So let's take one more look at the highlights from Gainesville. Casey Clausen early gets it started. The play action to Troy Fleming, 7-0 Big Orange. Moments later, Travis Stevens just had a tremendous day. 6 yards here, 6 points more importantly, 14-0 Tennessee. The Gators, though, they hop back into this one. They're always tough at home. Grossman going to work, finds his man, and all of a sudden, Tennessee down 17-14. They trail at half by 6. Half number 2. Travis Stevens busts one, 35 yards, and into Smokey's house. It's his 2nd touchdown. Part of, again, his gigantic 227-yard rushing day. Vols lead 21-20. Gators kick a field goal. Vols answer. Freshman Jabari Davis makes it 27-23. Just a few moments later in the 3rd, he does it again. In the 4th, he does it again. Davis up and into the end zone, 34-23 Tennessee. But, you know, when you're dealing with Gators, it can't be easy. Steve is plotting. He finds his man Grossman. He goes to Carlos Perez. Gators in within 2. They'd have to go for 2, trying to tie it with 1:10 left. Grossman seemingly all day fires, and nobody's home. Gaffney asking for interference flags all day. Quit your whining, son. It's incomplete. Onside kick. John Finley send a big man. Probably has the best hands on the team. They don't throw to him much, but the tight end with the great grab there. Onside kick, Tennessee. Celebration, Tennessee. Steve losing his headset. 34-32. Tennessee a victor, and there it is. The once and always famous victory formation. Tennessee, your winner. You see the score, 34-32. Let's take a look at probably some of the most important stats of the whole thing. 416 yards total offense for Tennessee. Travis Stevens, a huge hunk of them, 227 yards, 2 touchdowns, that on 19 carries, and it was the opposite end of the spectrum for Florida. 1.5 yards per carry. That's, well, that's abysmal. And let's talk a little bit more about the defense. You know, it was a nightmare from the word go for Florida quarterback Rex Grossman. The Heisman Trophy candidate threw for a lot of yards, but was pounded time and time and time again. Tennessee's defense, the Vols only had 4 sacks. Well, I shouldn't say only had 4 sacks, but that stat really doesn't tell the story. Rarely was Grossman able to work the deep vertical game, that because of the barrage that John Chavis's swarming and variable defense wrought upon Grossman. Do want to give everybody a little bit more information to share with you. Again, we just told you that Texas, of course, a team that was ranked ahead of Tennessee, has lost tonight. So chances are things get even better as far as Tennessee's dreams for the Rose Bowl. But you got to take care of business. Beat LSU next week, who, of course, beat Auburn tonight. And, you know, we are going to go out to the pep rally, so I have to get myself prepared, and Liz is out there. And yes, the Vols at the moment are #1, at least in the SEC East, and a couple of folks that are #1 in my heart.
I know.
There they are, Craig and Liz.
He's so sweet. There are a ton of fingers, pom-poms, whatever you want to call it. We have just gotten the most recent report on the team that they are on Alcoa Highway, and they've just passed John Sevier Highway, which would be terrific because we are really looking forward to them getting here. There's about, over 1,000 of us waiting.
At least. I'd say at least 1,000 that are here right now. You know, while a lot of the festivities have been going on in Gainesville, a lot of folks made the trip from Knoxville down to Gainesville for the big game. Of course, away games are a big deal here in Knoxville as well. A lot of folks come on into town to have a good time and watch the games. And we caught up with a few of those fans as they were watching the game today.
One of the best games I've seen this year. The secondary played great. The defense stepped it up. Randy Sanders is a man. This is going to be a great year for Tennessee.
You know, there are so many fans out here tonight, and joining us is Gary. And Gary, what brings you out here at almost midnight on a Saturday?
Duh. I mean, hey, I don't know. I bleed orange, buddy. I don't know.
Did you believe they could do this? Did you think they could?
I thought. I got my doubts.
Yeah.
You were praying, though.
They had a good chance than anybody.
Yeah.
But,
all right, well, we hear they're just a few minutes away, so the wait isn't much longer.
I've been here for about 2 hours.
Yeah, a lot of people have. As a matter of fact, they started piling in here around 9 o'clock even. So we'll keep you posted, and we will definitely come back here as soon as the team arrives. Let's send it back to the studio. Okay, we're going to go to Gainesville instead with Rick and Alan.
Bring it in. Come here, Mark. Thanks a lot. Hey, but we're going to bring this in, folks.
This is now. I want to show you.
This is. I'll hold it up.
I came out on the 50-yard line after the game. This is what I found on the 50-yard line. Some Tennessee player, went up in the stands and got this. And
CBS, crybaby Spurrier. Spurrier needs a spanking.
Yeah. Okay.
You know what? It couldn't happen to a nicer guy. The other day he was talking about how God is smiling down on the Gators and this and that, and nothing to it. But guess what? It happened.
Yep,
Tennessee came in here and got the job done, and they moved the ball on the ground against John Hoke's defense. We're going to hear from the Gator side right now, beginning with their defensive coordinator.
Better
for 10 games, and then to play this way in such a big game is a big disappointment, especially in the running game, because we had been a pretty good rush defense most of the year, and if you'd have told me before the game they had a run like this, I would have said no way, but they deserve all the credit. They got it done.
We have no excuse about anything. They just kicked our tails. That's all you can say. We have no excuses. We were ready to play, had good practices. They were just stronger than we were.
Nobody gave us a chance. Not anybody in the next gave us a chance. We knew what we could do. We came out, fought hard. Unbelievable game.
This is one other thing that stuck out in my mind. A couple days ago, I was talking to Steve Spurrier on Florida Field after their practice, and I asked him about the fact that, number one, John Henderson got even stronger.
Hey, we had to. I mean, our team was very strong in the fourth quarter. All the conditions we did in the summer finally paid off.
I think it's the biggest win so far since the '98 season, but we got many more to come. You know, we got SEC next week, and we got Nationals coming up, so we got to take it to them. You know, we can't slow down at all.
Right up on the action. You can see the plays straight out in front of you. You're right up here with all the media. You're right here with all the stars that gather right here in front of you.
It's Florida, Tennessee, baby. In the swamp. Here we come,
man. It's been a pleasant experience. Everybody makes it much worse than it is. We're having a great time. It's all a game.
Hey, their cheerleaders are talking trash to us. That's how bad it is. But that's all right. We're up 17-14. We're coming back. We're all right. We'll win this game. That's the important thing.
Tennessee is kicking some butt, but we've got to stand up and represent. That's all there is to it.
That's the way to do it.
What an experience. And then, of course, the scene after the game, unbelievable. And speaking of unbelievable scenes, what's going on right now at Tom Black Track. Liz, Craig, back to you again.
Hey, they're here. They're pulling up down Volunteer Boulevard. Look at this crowd. SEC, SEC. Can you believe this crowd?
In just a few minutes, they'll be coming off the buses and coming on in here, and we hope to get a few words from Coach Fulmer and some of the players and get their reaction to the game, and also a reaction to having this kind of a welcome when they get back to Knoxville.
This is one of the biggest parties since the '98 championship. Beating Florida that year was so sweet, and
it was. And
it's
the
so great
goalpost
again.
came down that year, and we celebrated the big win over Florida then. And this is just as big a win, maybe even bigger this year.
Oh, yeah.
So doing it in the swamp is just a terrific thing. So hopefully we'll get them in here in just a couple of minutes, and we'll get to hear what the players have to say. They're coming off the buses right now.
As you can see. And here they come. There's Coach Phil Fulmer, very proud. And they will make their way around the track. This is so exciting.
It's a long way around this track, and they're taking their time and enjoying every moment of this as all of the fans have gathered out here and are just so excited to welcome back the victorious Vols to their home in Knoxville.
Got to live this moment to the fullest.
Absolutely. The crowd is chanting SEC. And that, I think, has a lot to do with the fact that a lot of people in Florida were saying that Tennessee would always be #2 in the SEC.
Oh, yeah, I think they have a funny little song about that, too. I'm sure they're not singing it tonight, though.
I don't believe that's the song they're singing, quite honestly. Yeah, things have changed in Florida since they started singing those songs earlier.
Here they come. Coach Fulmer with his wife, Vicki.
Enjoy this night as everyone is welcoming them back. But of course, if you talk to Coach Fulmer, the first thing he'll tell you is that they're going to get ready for begin tomorrow morning getting ready for next week's game in Atlanta. And that's going to be the focus for the next week. So a lot of work ahead, but they'll be celebrating this big victory tonight.
Lots of smiles. Greg, we have just learned that LSU has won, so now that's who we'll be playing next week in Atlanta. Soaking this up. It looks like they are proceeding out, though. They gotta be tired. It's been a very long week for them.
And it's not like it was an easy game either. I mean, they really played their hearts out today. Of course, they're going to be once again heading back to the dorm and kind of like getting ready for the night. Of course, tomorrow morning things will start up again as Coach Fulmer starts to get the team ready for LSU.
And now we'll hear from Coach Philip Fulmer.
I am so proud of our football team. And I am so proud to be a representative of the greatest fans in all the world.
Coach Fulmer talking to the crowd. John Henderson.
I have a chance to work. I have a chance to work with the best staff in America. Our staff did a great job of preparing. We have the hardest bunch of seniors in America, led by this gentleman right here, John Henderson. I can hear you. Hey.
1, 2. All right. Hey, we thank y'all. We thank every last one of y'all. We love y'all. We going to Atlanta. We gonna get a ring, baby. You hear me? We gonna get a ring. All right.
That was a young man tonight, as he has all year, shown the heart of the Lion. 240-plus yards rushing tonight, Travis Stevens.
We just thank y'all for y'all support. We're going to take this to Pasadena and win it all for y'all.
Tonight's win is only an example of what teamwork can do. Our team came together and played an outstanding football game. This team also understands that they've got work to do next week in Atlanta. There wasn't a lot of people outside of the Tennessee family that believed we could get this done tonight. But this football team did believe that they could get it done. One of the guys that came to play, and there was a lot of them that came to play tonight, was the Iceman from California, Casey Clausen.
We just want to thank all you fans, but we got one more to go. That's in Atlanta, and then after that, I'm going back home in Pasadena for the Rose Bowl, baby.
We love you and we thank you for being here this evening. We expect to see you in Atlanta for the SEC Championship.
Oh, and there you have it. Coach Phil Fulmer, Travis Stevens, Casey Clausen, and there they go, off to get ready for next week.
You know, there was a mention of Pasadena just a few minutes ago when Travis was talking. And, of course, the big thing that everybody wants to happen is we're going to go to Pasadena and play for the national championship one more time. So that's what everybody's hoping for. And, of course, that's what the preparations will begin for tomorrow.
You know, the fans are all packed in here around us, and we understand it's been a quite similar experience down in Gainesville for Alan and Rick. Guys, how are you holding up down there?
Oh, we're doing good. We're just taking in what's going on down there. And you know, even after the national championship, I don't know that I've ever heard the coach so happy.
You know, to hear some of the things that he's saying, we don't hear that. Usually you hear the press conferences, you hear the things about the game. I've never heard it like that. Not only that, but I've never heard of having a parade and a big pep rally at Tom Black Track. So, hey, we're breaking new ground here as we go tonight. Of course, you beat Florida and you break new ground here.
Sure, no doubt about it. And, you know, Liz and Craig, you're talking about the fans down there. The fans, the diehards that came down here for the game today, there was about 3 or 4 sections in the stadium. One right behind the Tennessee bench, and then a couple on either side, and then one up in the upper deck. And they were as loud as can be. I mean, when Tennessee was up, even when Tennessee was down, they were just giving it their all. And you know who was taking note of that? The Orange Bowl officials. I was watching them up in the booth, and they're licking their chops. I mean, obviously they want Tennessee to go down to the Orange Bowl, but obviously plans are changing here.
You know, Liz and Craig, they would do a great job at the Macy's Day Thanksgiving Parade.
Hey, you guys are doing great back there. Tell you what, how about it over there in Knoxville?
Well, you know, you're not going to find too many people that, you know, wouldn't come out on a night like tonight.
Rose Bowl, baby! Rose Bowl! Rose Bowl!
They're being drowned out, Rick. They're being drowned out.
Well, you know, Rocky Top blaring down there, and it was blaring here in the stadium as well. The band did a fantastic job. I mean, time and time again, they were jamming the Gator band.
We've been to this game many, many years, but I've never seen the fan support that Tennessee got this time. And Rocky Top, just the fans on both sides.
Unbelievable. People up and down the street here going in, and, you know, obviously the Tennessee fans were outnumbered, but like the football team tonight, they held their ground.
All right, let's see if Liz and Craig, can you guys hear us here? Can you hear
I think
us?
it's an understatement to say that everyone here is very excited. But, you know, it was a great gathering tonight at Tom Black Track. At least over 1,000 people. We are going to say goodbye right now. Stephen and Lana, Kelly, back to you in the studio.
What a great time out there.
I got chills watching that. It's kind of hard to, we're speechless here at the studio after seeing that go on out there. We are going to take one last look at your forecast before we leave you tonight. How's it look?
They were. I'd say that the police department seems to be some of the only people who maybe thought that the Vols were certainly going to pull this thing out. They even have a command post set up a couple blocks away from the strip. They had a plan in place, and as soon as the last whistle blew, they knew what they had to do, and they put that plan into action, and certainly does seem to be working down here.
Okay, Teresa, thanks. Live from a pretty quiet strip tonight. We're back with plenty more weather and news after this.
Hi, I'm Bill Jones.
Toughest men, and I tell you what they just beat them up front. They ate up the Florida front seven, and what they did is they rushed for 242 yards. The Gators got 36. Travis Stevens got 226 yards himself. It was a situation like, come on, and they said, come on, and wow, they just beat the Gators up front.
You know what? I think they gained confidence early in the game. First drive, they drive down and score, quieted the swamp. But I think this was a great effort on both sides of the ball. Not only Randy Sanders, his offensive coordinator, with a great game in calling the plays, but John Chavis. How often did we see Rex Grossman, who we all thought was playing for not only a championship, but also a Heisman Trophy? John Henderson stepped up. They attacked him. They came up with 4 sacks, and when they didn't sack him, they pressured him. They pressured with 4. They dropped in coverage. John Chavis, defensive coordinator, very good scheme. And for the first time all year, Florida's offense looked in disarray.
26-18 was the score the first time LSU and Tennessee played back in Knoxville. That was a wild, very close game. A lot of momentum swings. Major challenge for the Vols to get back up. Texas could not answer the emotional challenge and beat
be able to have a fiesta, but Roses, oh, they need a special kind of turf. The hot story, the Tennessee Volunteers aren't Gators, and they are no longer Gator bait. UT turns Florida's Rose Bowl hopes into dead meat. They never promised anyone a Rose Garden as Tennessee drains the swamp.
The road to Atlanta and the SEC title game, and quite possibly the road to Pasadena and the Rose Bowl, runs smack dab through the swamp, otherwise known as Ben Hill Griffin Stadium. It's Tennessee and Florida, Eastern supremacy on the line, and hanging in the balance, a shot at the national championship. So let's take you out there. The Vols looking for their first win at the swamp since 1971. First drive, they go right down the field. Play action, Casey Claus Ross and Troy Fleming. They hook up from 2 yards out at 7-0 UT. On their next drive, 2nd and goal from the 5, Travis Stevens. What an afternoon he has. Right up the gut, and Spurrier is stunned. He's trailing 14-0, but it's just a matter of getting Rex Grossman uncorked, and he starts to heat up. Here he finds his favorite target, Jabbar Gaffney from 22 yards out. The Gators lead at the half, Dave, 20-14.
Third quarter, Florida up 20-14, but Tennessee comes out stroking. Mainly on the legs of Travis Stevens, who burst 35 yards, the nasty stiff arm, and he's in the end zone. Tennessee up 21-20. Then more Stevens. Tennessee up by a point. He takes the handoff, and he is off to the races. Look at that. He goes 68 yards to set up another Tennessee touchdown. It'd be a 2-yarder by Jabari Davis. That made it 34-26 Vols. Now, fourth quarter, time's winding down. Rex Grossman, he'll find Carlos Perez for the 3-yard touchdown. The Gators are within 2, so they got to go for 2. So it's Grossman. Back to pass. He's looking, but there's nobody open. Finally, he throws it to nobody. And Tennessee wins it 34-32, and they're singing Rocky Top in the swamp.
Yes, they are. They snapped 30 years of futility there. The last time Tennessee won in Gainesville, Phil Fulmer played on the offensive line. The Vols now headed to Atlanta for the SEC title game. Travis Stevens, the man. 226 yards on the ground, 2 touchdowns. The Florida ground game with Ernest Graham out with an injury, a mere 36 yards. And Steve Spurrier says the Gators have no one to blame but themselves.
We have no excuses. We have no excuses about anything. They just kicked our tails. That's all you can say. We have no excuses. We were ready to play, had good practice. They were just stronger than we were, seemed like.
Yeah, we lost a lot. And we're well aware of that, but, you know, we just got to swallow this one and start preparing for, you know, bowl game and next year, because this season's pretty much over.
Well, there was a great